There are no subsidies for that. However, there is a large tax break for the mining industry that was tucked inside the Democrats' new climate change bill. If a company produces one critical mineral, they can get up to 10% write-off on their operating costs, which is, of course, a big win for an industry that pays zero federal royalties. Mining projects get a new tax break. This actually leads to more projects and or translates to larger dividends, a la a GOP tax overhaul. Mining behavior as of late. Okay. What are the chances the Republicans just killed us when they take power? I mean, considering that this is, once again, a product of the legislative branch, it is a lot more difficult to tackle this, okay? If this was somehow written in a way that it was a fucking executive order, then yeah, you can undo it very quickly. So this is a little bit harder. I mean, a lot harder, actually. It's the hardest thing to overcome. It's the hardest thing to unwrite. That is the truth. But also, yeah, they'd have to vote, and they'd have to get the votes. They'd have to have a filibuster-proof majority. The same issues that the Democrats face regularly are the exact same issues that the Republican Party would face in this process. And they would not be able to do that when there is Brandon in charge as well. So there's that too. Just lower the cost for defense with 0.005% and take care of the 40 million that can't get food for the day. You'd fire the parliamentarian? No, it's not just a parliamentarian. Even if they had a 50-50 majority like the Democrats currently do, let's say, in the Senate, right? And they fired the Senate parliamentarian. Of course they did, because they would do that. That's easy. That's a gimme. They would still need to have Joe Brandon sign off on it. And he obviously would not sign off on this. So, they would have to... This shit would get vetoed. Unless that is, of course, unless we live in a future where Joe Brandon is no longer president because he died. And in the midterms, like, the Democrats fucking took the fattest of L's, and now there is a 50-50 majority. And then in the next election, Donald Trump became president again, in which case, yes, they could technically write it off. But why would they? Because this is a bipartisan bill. And what that means is that, there's a lot of pork for the corporate benefactors on the Republican side and the Democratic side. Not bipartisan, but any bill that passes in America is bipartisan, Fango. Come on. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not bipartisan. Oh, just because Republicans didn't vote for it doesn't mean that it's not bipartisan, okay? It quite literally is. There is no bill that passes in the United States of America that is not fucking bipartisan. Why? Because both the Democrats and the Republicans have the same corporate benefactors. They are the people who they care about. These are the people who they truly care about. What the fuck are you talking about? Not all bipartisan bills have to be voted on behalf of the Republican Party as well, it's like fucking increasing military spending or some shit. All right, let's hear what this is.
What's your response to President Biden giving you the pen that he signed?
Yeah, this is great. Exactly. Just like past bills, we know that Republicans will be happy to tout its successes in their home districts despite voting against it, which is what they do all the fucking time because no one fucking cares. That's one of the funnier parts about this is that, those motherfuckers are going to go back and be like, look at what I did for you. Okay? Look at what the fuck I did for you. Okay? I saved your life. I saved your industry. I'm bringing industry into this town. I did that. It's like, motherfucker, you didn't even vote for it. What do you mean?
What's your response to President Biden giving you the pen that he signed the bill with?
It was a nice gesture. A very nice gesture.
Quiet quitting. We're going to talk about that as well. Bernie Sanders had some thoughts on the CHIPS bill. Old man doesn't old man doesn't want everybody to get a 3090. Bad take. Just kidding. This is what a rigged economy looks like. On the same day, a bill was signed into law to give a $76 billion blank check to microchip companies. Intel announced it will be cutting back on plans to increase jobs by $4 billion while increasing dividends for its wealthy shareholders. I'm obviously joking. This is completely fucked up. And also, that bill should have been like, here, $76 billion blank check to microchip companies. But we have to do one public flagellation or execution of an executive a year. Okay? I'm just saying. This is the least surprising thing, because remember when they did this exact same thing when like UPS and FedEx got together and wrote a fucking letter under Donald Trump to get tax cuts specifically because they were going to help with additional hiring, and then they turned around and did exactly this after those tax cuts came for them. Yeah, I remember. So that was cool. The chip bill is an incredible win. 3 factories on U.S. soil. No, that is a win. Except also, they're still doing that while not doing it in a nice way, as always. So, no, I know they didn't hire shit. You know what they did instead? Stock buybacks and also fucking automation. They literally, they used the tax cuts and the additional revenue that opened up from said tax cuts on automation mechanisms and elimination of redundancies, as in firing people and trying to find new ways to automate parts of the supply chain. Held hostage. Entrepreneurs uneasy over Chinese government inaction. This is from 2013. Late last month, workers in a medical supply factory outside of Beijing heard rumors of an impending plant closure. In the U.S., this might have resulted in heated whispering among employees, formal demands for severance, and strongly worded memos advanced through proper channels. The Chinese workers took a more direct and distributing approach. They barricaded the building's exit and took the company's president hostage. What the fuck? Automation is a fantastic thing. Automation coming at the cost of fucking reducing the employees is not a good thing, though. If automation allowed employees to get paid the exact same and do less hours, okay, because it increased productivity, then it's a good thing. If automation is increasing productivity at the cost of the workforce being fired, then it's not a good thing. This is like basic capitalism. This is capitalism 101. Okay? I will never stand against automation, but you have to understand that automation is the reason why productivity has increased, whereas wages have remained stagnant over the course of these past decades, okay? We could be working, everyone in America could be working like fucking 20 hours a week at this point, but they're not. Why? Because now you can have less people do more people's work. Automation in a capitalist framework is bad because those displayed workers are not cared for. Automation is not bad. Automation is still good. You understand automation? What do you mean I don't understand automation? I am for automation. The issue is that automation in a capitalist framework is literally done at the cost of the workforce. I'm pro automation. I'm pro machines. Okay, shut the fuck up. Workers' profits are being siphoned by robots to lay off workers. Guys, here are 2 things you can do in a company, okay? You take the profits of the workforce and then you automate said workforce. When you have the workforce, specific parts of the workforce fully automated, what you can now do is maintain the same workforce and have them work less hours. But instead of having them work less hours for the same price point, they turn around and they fire the workforce and make the additional remaining workers uneasy and tell them, now you have to work harder, but at least you have machines. Anyone who's ever worked in a fucking job at any level knows exactly how this works. You have seen it. You probably saw it throughout COVID. If you ended up working throughout COVID, you got more of a fucking workload because they had to cut back. They had to scale back on employees. So then they literally fucking added more work to your table. You had to do more shit for the same price. And now you were terrified because you didn't want to get fucking, you didn't want to get fired. It also increases replaceability in your workforce since you don't need to be trained as much. Certainly, but you also have to, once again, remember that that problem goes along with capitalism. Automation can only be a problem under capitalism. It is never a problem under any other organization of the economy. Call it whatever the fuck you want. It's about what you do with automation. And if automation is being used as a way to replace the workforce and have the remaining workforce work extra hard and create additional profit, okay, then that's not good. It's just not good at all. If automation is used to ease the burden that workers have, okay, and literally lower the amount of hours they have to work for the same fucking price point because they're still literally producing, their output is still incredibly high, if not higher as a consequence of automation, then that's fine. But that will never happen. That will never happen unless there's a way to ensure that workers don't get fucked over, but they always have, and they will continue to be. Okay? Senator Joe Manchin fist bumps members of the Biden administration ahead of Inflation Reduction Act signing at the White House. Look at that. This guy somehow got reelected in an R+22 state where coal is historically the dominant industry and then passed hundreds of billions of dollars in investment into clean energy anyway. Absolute king shit. This is the worst way to fucking approach this. Okay? Like, it is literally the most idiotic way to look at this because he didn't just pass hundreds of billions of dollars in investment in clean energy. He did it at literally by tying it specifically to offering more drilling opportunities to the oil and gas industry. So I don't know why the fuck we're giving this man props when he does not deserve those props.